Hi, I'm Philip McClarty. Welcome back to Music Appreciation Online. Today we're going to be talking about scales. And scales are very important in music as they give the basic underlying tonality or key to a piece of music. And bear in mind, what I have to say about scales pertains to all types of music, whether your favorite is country western or gospel or classical or praise music or rock and roll, whatever your favorite, it all goes back to scales. So let's go to the piano and see how scales work. Basically, there are two types of scales, major and minor scales. We'll start with the major. In your textbook, in chapter 7, you'll find this simple little pattern. It begins with any note of the piano and then goes up a whole step, a whole step, a half step, a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, and a half step, just like that. So let's see how that works. We'll start with our friend middle C. Here's middle C. Now we go up a whole step, a whole step, a half step, a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, and a half step. Bear in mind, a whole step is two notes above any other note. So this is one note, here's another, and here are two. The half step is any note next to the note. So there's a half step, here's a half step down, half step up, and a whole step. So again, starting with C, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, and half step. That gives us a major scale. We can start on any key of the keyboard with the same pattern and get a major scale in that key. Let's do it on G. Here's G, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Now watch. We're going to go up to the next note above, two notes above. There is an F sharp. A sharp raises the note a half step to G. Watch again. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. There's our major scale. Now let's play a little tune on it, and it would sound like this. Are You Sleeping in the key of G. Now let's go to the minor scales. The minor scales work in a very similar way, except we have a different pattern. Go back to, let's start on A. We'll start on the key of A, and we'll go a whole step, a half step, a whole step, and a half step, and then a whole step and a whole step. Watch on the keyboard, and we'll see how that works. Starting on A, a whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, a whole step, excuse me. Hear how different that sounds, the minor key, as opposed to, some people say this is dark or somber or sad in a minor key. Watch this if we start on a C, our friend middle C, and we play a minor scale instead of the major scale. Remember the major scale? Listen to it as a minor scale. Here's a C, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. When we went from C to D and D to E, we had to go to an E flat. Flats lower a note a half step. So instead of E natural, we go to E flat. The same way when we get to A, we go to A flat, B flat, and C. Let's play the same little piece in a minor key. So, with the simple pattern of major scales and minor scales, you can start on any note of the piano, follow that pattern to make a scale on that note, and form a piece of music in that key. Major scales and minor scales. Next time, we'll talk about chords and how chords take up with the key and give us a nice musical accompaniment. So stand by. I'll look forward to seeing you next time.